That's awesome. Thanks for participating, everybody. Once you guys did it, I really appreciate you guys too. You've been part of me like 10 years, you know?
Go take a nap.
Yeah, seriously. Wake up, man. I'm like, allergies, dude. I'm going to try to read again this morning. So, but now my excuse is allergies. You know, yesterday was I was tired, but today's allergies. Father Boyle calls this chapter kinship. You guys know what kinship is?
Family.
Oh, that's a good thing. He's like the star student.
Right here.
Yeah. So Mother Teresa diagnosed the world's ills in this way. We've just forgotten that we belong to each other. Kinship is what happens to us when we refuse to let that happen. With kinship as the goal, the other essential things fall into place. Without it, no justice, no peace. I suspect that were kinship our goal, we would no longer be promoting justice, we would be celebrating it. Kinship has a way of sneaking up on you even as you seek to create it. I celebrate Catholic services on a rotating basis in 25 detention institutions in LA County, juvenile halls, probation chapels, all that stuff. And he always gives out his card to the kids there. Call me when you get out. I'll hook you up with a job. Take off your tattoos, line you up with a counselor. I won't know where you are, but with this card, you'll know where I am. Don't slow drag, because if you do, you'll get popped again and end up right back here. So call me as soon as you get out. I hand out 1,000 cards a year, so a homie named Louis, 17 years old, appears in my office one day, bright, happy, and smiling. Never in my life had I seen more hickeys on a human being than on this guy. His entire neck is spotted with these chupetanosas. I'm assuming those are big hickeys. Even his cheeks are covered. I'm thinking Mr. Guinness of the World Records might be interested in talking to Louis. Here I am, he says, arms outstretched. I just got out yesterday. And he points with me with glee, and you are the very first person I came to see. I look at this giddy gang member and I say, Louis, I have a feeling I was your second stop. Get it? Like, as long as you get it, I thought it was funny. But that's what you're supposed to sleep like that. But, that's possible too. Maybe that's why it's not funny. It's like the two of us collapse in laughter, and suddenly there's kinship so quickly. It's not a service provider, a service recipient. No daylight to separate us, just us. See, this is exactly what God had in mind. Often we strike the moral distance that separates between us and them. And yet it's God's dream come true when we recognize that there is no daylight between us. Serving others is a good start. It's a great start. But it's just the hallway that leads to the grand ballroom. You see, kinship is not serving the other, but it is being one with the other. Jesus was not a man for others, he was one with them. And there's a world of difference in that. I was asked to talk about the body. And I was asked to talk about us together as a church. And I want to give you guys a little bit of background on Step Off Ministry, especially for you guys who've been here for a little while. Sam was at a church called Bethel Korean Church in Irvine. Anyone know where that is? They're balling. If you drive by there, it's like I think the biggest church in Irvine. And I remember Sam a long time ago. I think I met him in Awana. It was a long time ago, right? And Sam was really hardcore. He would try to ditch Bible study. He would jump on the cars. Where are you going? Bible study, you know, like. And he would like be hardcore, right? Like hardcore. But see, what happened with Sam is over the years, God placed in his heart to reach out to the kids that were not being included at this church that preached loving everybody. But of course, you get in where you fit in. But there was not a church for kind of like the rebels, the outcasts, right? So Sam says, hey, can you play guitar? I'm like, sure. Out of Bethel? I go, okay, whatever. I was kind of dumb, you know, like, all right, let's go, you know. And I actually really wanted to stay, you know, because I like, I'll be honest, I was like, oh, you know, and then like, it sounded like, you know, I could play guitar and stuff, so we went and stuff, and it was cool. First service we had like, I think the first thing we bought was a DJ set, and, you know, everybody came, you know, that smog machine, I didn't know what we were doing, so we're like, you know, like, nobody knew either, so it was all from Irvine and Bethel, you know, they didn't know either, so they were like, woo, you know. And then like, next Sunday, I don't even know how many people were there, but I think it was like me, Sam, and like one other person. I'm like, what happened to like the 30 people, you know, like, whoa, you know, so like, I'm playing song, you know, Sam's like singing, maybe one of the guys singing, you know, and then I sit down and Sam preaches, you know, Jesus says, you know. And then next thing the other guy doesn't come back, you know. I'm playing, Sam comes out, Jesus said. And then it gets worse. I get on drugs and leave, and so I really don't know what happened, like, you know? But you know what God does? God always works it out if He starts a plan. But God works it out, but He needs people to help His plan be worked out. It really is a burnout when you're doing ministry or you're trying to grow a church and it's like 2 people. Or maybe there's 20 people, but only 2 people are working. You see, you're still dysfunctional. 2 people are carrying the load for everybody else, and that's not the way God intended church to be. If you're new, then just come. But if you've been here 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, and you're not doing anything, do something. Because it's not about you. So I think when Christians come, we shared earlier, I heard you guys talking about your story. That's great. That's how you get to know each other. But the next step is you taking your life and serving your body as a church. Church before, back in the Old Testament times, you go to the temple, not everyone could go in, it's a very sacred thing. But that's in the past now, and what church is now is actually your physical bodies create the church. All of you guys in this room are the church. Your body and your spirit align together through the Holy Spirit creates the church. That's why you can have church at a park, you can have it here, you can have it at the building, you can have it wherever you want. But all of you guys make the church, and when God starts a church, He starts it with the goal and purpose in mind. But the other flip side is He's patient for you to start building His church. See, Christianity is not about you. It's not about you at all. The beginning is about you loving God and God loving you. And it's about you taking what God has given to you and you putting in work. And that's what we're going to talk about today. See, Paul was this guy who started all these churches. And Paul was a jackass. In the beginning, he would persecute Christians. He would do all these crazy things. And if you don't know the story, you have to read it because I don't have time to go through all that. But I'll give you a quick story of Paul's life. He was going around. He was persecuting Christians. He was a religious leader. God jacked him up, blinded him, so he had to be blind for a few days. God unblinded him. He was like, Jesus, turned his life around, and he became this awesome Christian because he started putting in work.